This one for all my children. Know I truly love you. You gave my life a brand new meaning, turned me to a wonder. Now I ignite the stage with glory like a boom of thunder. Now watch it woo your mother, ain't no fool upon you. This one for righteous living, I salute you, brother. If you stood by that lady side, you turned into a mother. I hope you truly love her. She uses brutal rubber. Ain't scared of life, you manning up, that day is truly gutter.
Hello, my name is Jasmine, and this is my husband, Driscoll. Welcome to my channel, Family Values, where we discuss all things marriage and family. Today, we'll be doing a reaction of Chantel, Simone, and Amira's collab video about young marriage. So let's get into this.
A lot of women will say, don't get married young. Don't get married young, and their excuse is that I was young and dumb. But it wasn't the age that you got married, it was the lack of vetting.
You know what my mother told me? My mother told me, when you get married, your husband wants your youth. He wants your youth. He wants to be with you in your youth. He wants to grow you, like almost not raise you, but that sounds too strange, but your husband wants to mold you. He wants to customize you to be for him so that you will be perfect together, that you don't need to try to rearrange a person in their late 30s. No, because it's too difficult at that time. Your husband wants your youth, and your youth, giving your youth to your husband is the best thing you can do. So instead of like trying to spend your youth giving yourself to this person, that person, and then firing them, and then once you get to mature age, you're like, oh, okay, now you can have me at my maturity. You need to give your husband all of the youth that you can, because that will make it easier for him to look at you when you're 65 years old, because he knows he's seen you since you were in your prime, and he saw you grow. So he's more attached to you.
And I was going to mention that word, your prime years. It's like, if this person is your life partner, this person is who you're going to have children with, who you're going to do the hardcore things with, who you're going to bury your parents with. That's something I always say. I look for a partner who is there for me to bury my parents with. Why would you want to waste your prime on dating around, waste your prime on risking to be scarred, risking these emotional baggages? A lot of women will say, don't get married young. Don't get married young, and their excuse is that I was young and dumb. But it wasn't the age that you got married, it was the lack of vetting. It was the lack of allowing a guy, a father or a brother, somebody you respect, a male authority that you respect, to vet your potential husband. So it wasn't the age. And too often we blame the age. You know, if you hear a girl getting married at 22, 23, you're like, oh, you're too young, enjoy your life. It's not the age. And to enjoy your life, you should be enjoying your life with your life partner.
With your husband. And all of these trips and all of this. And it's like, you can travel with your husband. Did you understand that there are seats on a plane for you and your husband, not just, and it's absurd to think that your whole life stops when you get married. I'm married and I enjoy my life. Me and my husband go to the Middle East. We go to Europe. We have a great time. We enjoy everything that I do. I enjoy with my husband. So do you think my life stopped? Do you think that I'm not enjoying myself as a married woman? I'm enjoying myself, and I live better than most people. Memories, and creating a life that you can look back on, taking pictures in those areas. And when you get old and you're tired of traveling and you have your grandkids sitting next to you, you show them the pictures. Look at me and your grandmother. We were here in Rome. We were in Italy. We were eating the finest pasta and drinking the finest wine in Italy, in Venice. Anything, we were smoking the finest hookah in the middle of Dubai. We were doing all of this stuff,
Instead of showing them the pictures and they're like, oh, grandma, who's that random guy?
And we'll stop it right there.
Why are there so many different guys in this?
So many amazing points made to try to tap into right there.
Yeah. I love what she said about, your life basically starting with marriage. It doesn't end with marriage. You get to do all those special things with your husband, with your wife. It doesn't end because you're married now.
I mean, it's better. I've done guys trips and went places with my friends, and we got great memories to look back on, but it's nothing like doing things with my wife personally. And then I noticed, like, in the beginning, she kind of shied away from saying that your husband raises you, so to speak. I said she should have ran with that because I like it. I always resort back to the significance of the symbol of the father handing his daughter off to the husband in a way to say it is now your responsibility to continue where I left off.
Right.
And I think a lot of men want ready-made wives. I'm always harping on this, that there's no such thing as a ready-made wife. It is by design your responsibility to cultivate and develop that woman through your leadership into who she's supposed to come. The same way we see the picture of, in the Bible, love your wife as Christ loved the church. And that is so that in all of the work that Christ put into us, he gets to redeem to himself a spotless bride. That's his reward at the end for his work, So when we get to that place in life where we look back on our wives and we're like, man, I'm amazed at who you've become. You know that the work you put in now is reaping that result. So I think she shouldn't have shied away from that. We are to father our wives in a sense. And I think too many times men are shying away from that, and society is shaming the idea.
Right. Men feel like, especially now that men are being more vocal about what they want, they're not understanding that part of, the leadership. And they want, like you said, a ready-made wife. And although it's great, it's imperative that we raise our daughters to be wives, but at the end of the day, every man is different. Every man needs different things, and he needs to teach those things to her. He needs to build her into what he would want to see and be proud of.
And there are some aspects of life that we're just going to give through our wisdom that they will never be able to grasp or understand until they have that male leadership in their lives, especially nowadays. We're talking about healing the Black community. 80% of the Black community is born into a home out of wedlock.
Right.
So are we saying that only 20% of the community is marriage potential? Maybe ideally that is the case. But if we really are saying and we mean what we're saying, that we want to see Black marriage, then we have to do something to address the other 80%. And there has to be a bridge between that gap to make up for these errors and these flaws, because otherwise we can't just discredit the fact that there's work that needs to be done and we all play a part in it. And I think marrying young is a great way to get ahead of that thing so we can stop sending our children and our young adults out here to make these same mistakes that we're trying to speak against now. Is kind of counterproductive, because that's all that's waiting on you when you put off marriage is more potential to make babies out of wedlock, more potential to add bodies, add bad experiences, add disdain towards the opposite sex, instead of just growing with the person who's committed their lives to you from the beginning.
Right. Growing together. You get to a point in your life where you are set in your ways, you're set in your habits, and it's much more harder to change and mold yourself into what that man needs. So it's best to start young, where you're fresh, your mind is willing and ready to learn.
And it's funny because that's why I was so excited to do this reaction, because we literally talked about it the other day. Because a lot of people get twisted in the message. It's like, well, if men don't want to marry older women, eventually we get old anyway. So if he's not going to be attracted to me because I'm old, what's the point of even getting married?
Right.
She harped on that. The point is that you give him your youth. And so now when you grow old together, he can appreciate you, rather than you trying to come when he's already at his best and giving him what's left. That's not really as enticing.
Right.
But if you've given a man your entire youth and he's got to shape and mold you and build you, and now you are a product of him, then you're going to continue to reflect that to the end of time now. And for the rest of his days, he can cherish the things that he's receiving as a result of that cultivation.
Absolutely.
So that's the beauty in marriage that I think a lot of people are missing out on by trying to wait I mean, those are the best years. Those are the best years to really grow fond of each other. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine in my 40s trying to get to know someone. I mean, and to the people who did it, you know, I'm sure you made the best of the situation, but a lot of people I would imagine would say, man, I wish I would have met my spouse when I was younger. So I love this message, and I'm glad they did this video. Definitely had to react to it because it's something we preach all the time, and people think it's crazy. People can't see past money, past finances. We're faith-based people, and I believe that God's a provider, and where there's a will, there's a way. Absolutely. And if you're intent on doing something, you will get it done. Yeah. You know, the same people complain about money, got no problem buying Jordans and going out to eat and doing the things that are important to them. Even when it comes to having families, you know, some of the material things that people put at the forefront are not always necessary. You can scale back in certain areas to make the things that are important to you fit into your life if you really desire to have it. So, you know, it's just all in a matter of what you value. And that's why over here we're talking about family values, because those are the things we value above anything else.
And what I really loved about what Chantel said, because you often hear this a lot, oh, I was young and dumb, or I'm too young for that. She's too young for that. She needs to wait. And it's not, like she said, it's not your age and you being too young to get married. It's the fact that you don't understand how to vet these men, and you don't have someone there to help you vet these men. So it's not about your age. You being young and dumb actually is I wouldn't say a complete bonus, but you being willing to learn due to you being young and #dumb, you know, that helps for that man to easily be able to teach you, for you to be able to look up to him. If you already got it, how are you going to look up to a man?
Talk that.
You need to see him as something that, oh, I want to learn from him. I want to glean from him. I want to understand how he thinks, so I can have some of that wisdom. And it's just much easier when you start that journey at a young age.
As a man, if you don't look up to me, there's no room for me to cultivate you. So that's already not attractive to me for a marriage, much less even a serious relationship. And I think a lot of women are so busy trying to appear strong that they're not realizing that's the very thing that's getting you picked over a lot of times. I think young and dumb, as society would call it, is the best place you can be. That's the best place you can be, because that means that you are still teachable. When you got it all, there is no need for a leader. Yeah. And all that a strong male leader in your life is going to do is create conflict with your ego. Yeah. And then, no man wants to deal with that.
And then you're going to see your man as your equal. And then how do you submit to someone who's equal to you? As if it makes sense.
Talk about it. And on the contrary, I always say men do not walk around protecting our equals. We don't protect our counterparts. When I'm out with my homeboys, there is not an underlying expectation that if something happens to them, I take a bullet for him, or that I stand in the way and make sure he doesn't get hurt. Right. We're equal. So you should be just as much as a man as me. You just as much in the gym as me. You should be just as ready with your hands as me. You know what I mean? It's no expectation for the people who are on my level, my counterparts, to see me as their protector. The people that we protect are the ones that are acknowledgingly weaker than us, the ones who reverence us in the manner of something capable of being able to protect you. So, you know, I just love that you just touched on that, because I think a lot of people forfeit that. You know, when you feel like Black men don't protect Black women, that's a common narrative I'm hearing, but it's always from the loudmouth Black women that put their hand in the man's face and talk down on and berate him. It's no wonder nobody wants to protect you. It's not going to naturally rise up in our nature to want to protect something that's combative and perceives itself as our equal.
Right. And if someone does, it's just out of law, you know, out of
they got shame. Something to prove, but it's not
in them.
You don't have to make a man protect his daughter. You don't have to shame that.
Mhm.
It'll naturally rise up
Right.
with him with 100% of his effort and rage to tear the head off of anything that's threatening his daughter. So when you say raise your wife, father your wife, these are things that should be seen as endearing, because that same natural protector will rise up to the occasion for that woman in that same manner if that's the dynamic that's being presented to him. So I think we got to stop being afraid and scared away from these terminologies and these shame tactics, because that's the nature of what makes marriage beautiful, in my opinion.
Amen. Amen. Well, thank you, Chantel and Amira, for your great collab. You guys got to do it again. I really enjoyed it. And like, share, and subscribe. And thank you for watching.
Praise to y'all.
We need you longer. We lost so many chosen. We need to please become thought provoking.